Are you someone that's easily just kind of drifting through your day? You might talk to some people, but the encounters seem kind of shallow and they don't really stick with you. Eventually, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, and yesterday holds little to no value to you. By the end of this video, hopefully that will not only have changed, you'll also genuinely look forward more to what the world has to offer. Far too many people nowadays don't seem to care much for social encounters anymore. I've been there, most of my life honestly. You'd rather keep those headphones on than talk to the person next to you. Then last year I read this book called Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life. And to keep it short, it's about the people on the island of Okinawa, and it's about finding your calling, your Ikigai. And here's the thing, the people of Okinawa seem to just not die. They have the highest life expectancy in the whole world. The writers of the book went there and they lived with the people and tried their way of life and asked them questions about how and why they live so long. One of the most important parts was a happy mindset. Just having an overall positive view on life, which is something that most people in our generation has to work on. And one thing they brought up was a saying called Ichigo Ichie, and this is what really got to me. It translates to one time, one meeting. It has also been translated to once in a lifetime or for this time only. The point is that everything that happens and every encounter that you have with anyone happens once. One time only. Then it's gone forever. It's the idea that you should cherish every time you meet someone, because even if you meet them in the future again, it will never be quite the same. It's absolutely beautiful. And what's so amazing about it is that it's not just a saying that someone has on their wall at home or that most people have heard once or twice. This is something that they say, something they remind themselves of. When they meet someone, they remind themselves that this moment will only happen this one time and then never again. So they try to make the most out of it, and that it's special for that very reason. Even if it's not like a mind-blowing encounter or your favorite person in the world, it's still something that only just happened this one time. Now I want you to think here for a second. What kind of things do you remember at the end of the day? If we compare two different possibilities of just an everyday situation, let's say that you're standing on the sidewalk at your bus stop waiting, and someone that you slightly recognize is also waiting for the same bus. You want to ask them if they're in fact the person that you met at the bar that one time, but you're not really sure. So either you go, nah, that'd be weird, and you keep listening to music in your headphones. Or you go, you know what, I'ma just ask, which one will make a stronger memory? Chances are that you won't even remember waiting for the bus in a couple of days if you decided to keep the headphones on and not talk to them. And isn't making memories what matters? At the end of the year, when you're looking back, you only seem to remember those things that made the strongest impressions. You remember that trip, you remember that concert, you remember that special evening you had with your friends. You remember those couple of things that made the strongest impressions. And talking to someone is such a strong impression compared to just standing there alone and just standing with your headphones on. And talking to people especially makes a strong impression if you find it interesting. And once you come to realize that every encounter is completely unique, it also becomes so interesting. Now, I'm not talking about strangers only here. I mean people that you know as well. You stumble upon a friend you haven't met for a while and talk to them for a couple of minutes before you part ways. Would you not rather grip the opportunity of being fully interested and making the most out of those minutes? And you might go like, oh, but I would enjoy it more if I just kept going. But yeah, okay, well, let's say he starts talking to you and is going like, hey, what's up, man? It's been a while. How you been? So you're gonna spend those minutes there either way. Ichigo, Ichie. I actually did not intend for that to rhyme, might sound weird. But this will only happen once. Wouldn't you want those minutes to be as fun as possible? Instead of just saying the standard phrases, you know, yeah, I'm good, yeah, how about you, how are the kids, how da da da. It's not fun if you just give the shortest answers possible to get out of there, but it might actually be fun if you try to be interested in the conversation. Because here's the big twist, which you know you're just not taking it into consideration. Not only that specific encounter is limited to happening once, all encounters in your life are limited. How many people can you talk to before you die? I'm 22 now, and if I try to put a number on how many people I've talked to in the last year, it's not an awful lot. It's not that many, and these are supposed to be your most social years, you know? And this last year, I've still talked to way more people than before that. We kind of have this illusion that we'll just talk to way more people in the future, or we'll just do this in the future, but we probably won't. If you take the amount of people and strangers and stuff that you've talked to this year, and you multiply that by how many years you have left until you probably are most likely to die, let's say the average life expectancy where you live, then I mean that might not be many at all. If you've talked to like 2 strangers this year because you don't really like talking to people, then you're not really gonna talk to a lot of people in your life at all. That's kind of scary, because I used to be kind of terrified of social interactions, and I used to be very against meeting new people. I think it was kind of that I was scared of it, and I would rather be seen as someone that's like, no, I don't like talking to people, rather than someone that's like, no, I'm scared of talking to people. It's crazy. Everything is incredibly limited. So even if you would not have the energy for this certain encounter, you can't just go, oh, I'll talk to more people another day. There isn't an infinite number of other days. I think we all have some sort of social expectations for the future. You want to meet new friends, have new relationships. If you don't think that's the case, ask yourself this. Are these people that you know in your life right now the only people that you want to spend your entire life with? I know for a fact it isn't like that for me. I want to meet a lot of new people in my life, have new interesting conversations, and get to know new people. But unless you're actively working towards that, how do you expect for it to happen? Ichigo Ichie. You gotta make the most of it, because how could you afford not to when your days are numbered like they are? Like Marcus Aurelius said, let each thing you would do, say, or intend be like that of a dying person. Memento mori. Appreciate. And earn your sleep, damn it.